Alhamdulillah. Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom lakam, which is peace unto you all. Knocking out Waha Bar with the Hebrew Israelites coming to you week in and week out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, the preach you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, Haitians, and Israelite foreigners. Nachamatam, Kaya, Hamalak, Wathashamayim, Kwara, repent, yea, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. First and foremost, before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and say, Call Halayim La, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Chahakodash. A double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us the truth and rule well, and much respect to you bros out there pushing this truth with all righteousness and sincere shalom, shalom. And just like the lesson is entitled, right hand of falsehood. Pretty much going into how, Esau has done a diligent search. He's went to different societies. In history, he gathers what he needs. Essentially on the left hand side. So he essentially uses that right hand of falsehood going into deception, the witchcraft that he uses. So could we start with Psalms chapter 144 and 11?
Okay. This is the book of Psalm chapter 144 and verse 11. It reads, "Rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children."
It says strange children. The scriptures say in Job, that pretty much you can't leave them around. The animals. Because they do such treacherous things.
God, rid me and deliver me from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity.
Right. The scriptures say it's a lot. The scriptures say that in Jeremiah the 12th chapter, pretty much going into how the Lord's name is near in their mouth, but far from their reigns. Pretty much going into how they blaspheme the Lord continually.
God. And their right hand is a right hand of falsehood.
The right hand is a right hand of falsehood, and usually with your right hand, that's the one that you depend on. That's the one you depend on, the one that's going to do the most work. So they depend on that deception. The scriptures say, Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. How he rules this earth is through deception. So we're going to get a couple of examples just in the spirit, on some of the things that this man, how he rules the world. We go back to that
verse 12.
No, we had the Britannica article, Baba Kushan.
God.
Yeah. And it says Ouroboros, and if we can click onto the picture, Baba Kushan.
God.
And then yeah. Which when you look at,
so like it's not letting me.
Okay, it's all good. But when you look at it, it's a circle. It looks like the Hebrew letter Ta, and to the top left, all right, it's in the shape of the Ta. It's in the X. Pretty much the Greeks, they took it and they use it for things like this article's going to go into Gnosticism, and then also Hermeticism. You see, but they essentially take the letters and use them for their own purposes. Going into Romans the 1st chapter, which we'll get out of our Tazah. But we can go back to the article. And it says, emblematic serpent of ancient Egypt and Greece represented with its tail and its mouth continually devouring itself and being reborn from itself, because they essentially took it as, they felt as if the snake was immortal. And then also the Hebrew letter Ta. Could you pull that up too, Baba Kushah, the picture?
God. You able to see it?
Mm-hmm. Right there. It says Tanad number 9 Dashai, and it says basket. When you make something into a basket, essentially you gotta take reeds, stuff you get from trees and bark and stuff like that, but you'll weave it in a certain way, and a snake moves in that particular type of manner. So that's why it goes into a snake. But then it says to surround, you see, because Ta has a circle around it. So that's why it says surround, So they took that and they applied it to whatever doctrine they did, They took it out of its natural use, So could we get Romans chapter 1 and verse 23, Baba Kusha?
I had a real quick one.
You got it.
The fact that this Esau is perverse. Everything that he does is contrary to how Yahweh Shah set up. So what you're going into is just showing you, the perverseness of Esau. Right? When you look up that word perverse, I believe it went Esau's profane, but he's also perverse. But Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 4, it says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith." Right, and Esau's spirit is not upright because, like I said, he was made to be adverse to light, adverse to scripture. So,
Mm-hmm.
as you know, as we go into with the Hebrew, all right, the Hebrew is pretty much showing off the glory of Yahweh Shem Shah. But Esau, what he
Mm-hmm.
has done is went into the Hebrew and he's tried to utilize it for left hand means, which is what you're
Right.
going into.
Right. It was Romans chapter 1 and verse 23 down to 25.
This is Romans chapter 1, verse 23. And it reads, "And change the glory of the uncorruptible power into an image made like a corruptible man,
Mm-hmm.
into birds and four-footed beasts and creeping
So
things."
it's a lot. Hey, Cornwall, could you get it in the NLT Bible shop?
Okay.
You could run it back, Yeshaya.
God. This is Romans chapter 1 and verse 23. "And change the glory of the uncorruptible power into an image made like to corruptible man, and to
Mm-hmm.
birds and four-footed beasts and creeping things."
Mm-hmm. Well, this chapter is essentially going into the nasty people you see, but it can also be applied to essentially idols you see, because we'll get it in the NLT. Could you get that verse 23 in the NLT Bible shot, Cornwall?
Okay. Romans 1 and 23 in the NLT. "And instead of worshiping the glorious ever living power, they
Mm-hmm.
worship idols,
Right.
made to look like mere people, and birds and animals and reptiles."
Right, reptiles, and a snake is a reptile. And you go back to ancient Egypt, they pretty much revered snakes. They treated they revered them and they worshipped them. That pretty much was like how America has a eagle. That was pretty much like their nation bird, so to speak.
Right.
Mhm.
Let me continue on.
Kind of the 25.
God, Romans 1 and 24, Romans chapter 1, verse 24, it says, "Wherefore the Most High also gave them up to uncleanliness through the lust of their own hearts, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves."
Right, which again, this is going into the nasty people you see, but then verse 23 and 25 can be applied to pretty much the truth in general you see, because when you go into that, the other nations, chiefly Esau, he'll take like for instance the alphabet, he'll take it and use it for left hand purposes, and in turn doing that, using the truth as a lie,
Mm-hmm.
or turning the truth into a lie.
God. Verse 25, it says, "Who changed the truth of the Most High into a lie, and worshipped and served the creature more than the Creator, who
Mm-hmm.
is blessed forever. Amen."
Right. What's the alphabet? That would be a creature. They pretty much worship the Tau. And as we'll get in that other article, they took the letter Tau. They put a snake on it, like in the form of the Ouroboros, which is a circle with the head swallowing the tail. And then also they used to worship the number 9. So could we go to back to the could we go to the one that said Enad or Ened?
Khan. From Wikipedia.org, it says Enad.
And it says, I got it. It says the Ened or Great Ened was a group of 9 deities in Egyptian mythology. Mythology worshipped at Heliopolis, the sun god of Atum, the children Shu, Telra, the children. I'm gonna skip down. It says the Ennead sometimes includes Horus the Elder, an ancient form of the falcon deity, not the son of Osiris and Isis. So pretty much they would worship the letter Ta, and they had like the 9 so-called deities.
Yeah, because if I can add, that shows you how Esau pretty much, he took that knowledge from Egypt. Because when you go into the Greeks, when you have Greek culture today, you have like the fraternities, they call them the Divine Nine. Which pretty much goes into paying homage, because each of them sororities and fraternities, they all go back to an Egyptian god. So it's just showing you that power that they that they learned from Egypt.
Mm-hmm. Could we get Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 1, Baba Kushah?
Can I add something real quick?
Yeah, you got it, bro.
Because I was just looking up this word strange, as we read in Psalm 144 and 11, and just laying back off what you're going into. It says here in the Free Dictionary, out of the ordinary or difficult to account for. So
Mm-hmm.
everything that we see Esau Edom doing is out of order, right?
Right.
It's estranged, it's separated, right, from the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And as you're going into, they're heaping unto themselves and gathering all this information from other sources, right? Whether it be from the Philistines, from that Neo Babylon, from the Egyptians, and then going on to the Greeks, the Romans, and into what we're into today. So this is that those strange children, right? Those separated, far off, like it says here, uh, not previously known or out of the ordinary, right? So we didn't know these ways until they were presented unto us, man, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they're not our ways, So as they did that diligent search, right? They began to present these things unto us, man.
I get a quick one for you. Could
Okay.
we get 1 Corinthians 14 and 33?
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 33. And it reads, "For the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints."
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much to reiterate, like the brother Quanawaf went into, the Lord isn't the author of confusion. Everything, when you go into the Hebrew, it has a certain specific type of way that is used. So when the heathen, they essentially they take it and they put it into a way to where it's not meant to be used. And that's when it starts to throw things out of course.
Kanye, I got something real quick.
Mm-hmm.
This is James chapter 3, verse 15. It says, "This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, and devilish." Just going into how these heathen, but specifically Esau, have took the wisdom from the Most High, whether it's through the Hebrew, the scriptures, the understanding of the Bible as a whole, the understanding of how the Lord created everything, and they flipped it into just straight up wickedness, man. Like I said, this is why you have everything is in a confused state, because Esau has altered everything, man.
Right.
Like a good point of that is, since you're going into the Hebrew, you have the Lashwan Kodash, which means, pretty much the pure tongue. But then Esau has took, and made it with this Yiddish, the vowel points and all that. So he's skewed, how the Hebrew is supposed to be said. And then as you're going into, he's took it and he's, pretty much, put enchantments with the Hebrew to where this is what we see has developed into idol worship.
Right. Could we get that Isaiah 19 and 1?
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 1. "The burden of Egypt, behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence."
Right.
And
And it says the burden of Egypt. You see something that Egypt had to look forward to, And present day Egypt, America, Babylon the Great, just like ancient Egypt, the Lord touched ancient Egypt. So the Lord is touching these idols, that America confides in, just like ancient Egypt confided in certain particular idols. And one of those was the snake. They really idolized the snake, And it says, "And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it." You see, because that's what's happening in America, and that's what happened in ancient Egypt,
Mm-hmm.
Could we get? Oh, there you go. You finish out.
It says, "And the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it."
Mm-hmm. And just like right now, because America takes some of these same ideologies, the heart of America, Babylon the Great is melting. It's not the same as it once was. You can't. The American dream is no longer here. The economy isn't like it was. You can't buy the same things. You can't really join the military, so to speak, and get the same benefits. It's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
And just to get an example of how the Lord touched ancient Egypt? Could we get Exodus chapter 7, verses 8 to I think it was 12?
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 7. You said verse 8.
Yeah.
It says, And Yahweh spake unto Moses and unto Aaron, saying, When Pharaoh shall speak unto you, saying, Show a miracle for you, then thou shalt say unto Aaron, Take thy rod and cast it before Pharaoh, and there shall become a serpent. And Moses and Aaron went in unto Pharaoh, and they did so as Yahweh had commanded. And Aaron cast down his rod before Pharaoh and before his servants, and it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh also called the wise men and the sorcerers. Now the magicians of Egypt, they also didn't like manner as their enchantments.
Right,
For,
and when you go back to ancient Egypt, they really relied, and it was heavy into all that different left hand stuff. I.e. necromancy. They had Memphis. Memphis was a heavy necropolis area. When you go into necropolis, it's necros. The Greek necros means death. Necromancy. So they essentially was heavy into that. Stuff like that, talking to spirits. That's why they got the Egyptian Book of the Dead. They was heavy into stuff like that.
Yeah, and that makes sense. While you're looking at today here in Memphis, Tennessee, that's one of the top murder capitals of America. There's all type of wickedness that goes on down there. So it's just that spirit
Right.
returning.
Right.
and just going into their enchantments, it says the sorcerers also did likewise, right? With the same way, Esau is trying to come out with his enchantments, with the sea hip, saying you can bring people to walk again, make people be able to see again, different things that he's coming out with this whole sea hip, just showing the enchantments on the left hand side, that Esau's coming out with, it's the same thing as he's doing back then, as the Egyptian and his sorcerers did back then.
Mm-hmm.
But continuing on, Exodus 7 and verse 12. For they cast down every man his rod, and they became serpents. But Aaron's rod swallowed up their rods.
Right. So, when that occurred, ancient Egypt, they really revered, snakes. They thought they was immortal. You see, but just like man, animals die as well. Could we get Ecclesiastes 3 and 19 to 21, Baba Kusha?
I want to make another point as well, just dealing with that, because when you look at the symbolism of what a snake represents, a snake is a serpent is supposed to be wise, so they revere the serpent as a form of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get a precept real quick?
Kai, you got it.
This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 9 in the NLT. This man will come to do the work of Satan with counterfeit powers and signs and miracles. So that account of the serpents, right, where Aaron put his serpent down, and those sorcerers put their serpents down, and Aaron's serpent overtook their serpents. It shows you the power of the Lord can't be measured up to by any of Esau's means, man. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a counterfeit power. That's a counterfeit miracle. But people are putting their trust in these things. Just as during the time of Egypt, just as they've done, in past captivities, they're doing them same things now.
Okay. Actually, before we get that, could you go to I think it was one that said Theta. It might have been Theta in Wikipedia. It was an article.
Con, let me find it real quick. All right, here it is. Theta from Wikipedia.org.
You scroll down to symbolism, which, if I can mention too, Theta comes from the Hebrew Ta. Right there, it says, in ancient times, Ta was used as a symbol of life or resurrection, whereas the 8th letter of the Greek alphabet, 9th in archaic form, anciently used for numeration, Theta was considered the symbol of death. Because essentially, the Egyptians, they view snakes as a deadly animal, and it says a quotation attributed to ancient Roman author Ennius, though possibly spuriously, said, "Oh, Theta, a letter much unluckier than others." According to Fofari and Tyros, the Egyptians used an X within a circle as a symbol of the soul, having a value of 9, because the Ta, if you take the, they call it an X, but it'd be like the cross symbol inside the circle, essentially represents 9 in Hebrew. And it says it was used as a symbol for Ennead, which Ennead is just the Egyptian way of saying 9. And it says, Johannes Lydius says Egyptians use a symbol for the cosmos in form of theta, with a fiery circle representing the world and a snake spanning the middle representing Agathos Diamond, which Diamond goes into demon. So essentially that goes into the worship of a demon, And it says, you scroll down just a little bit to abbreviation.
Okay.
And it says, in classical Athens, it was used as an abbreviation for the Greek thetanos, death, and it vaguely resembles a human skull. Theta was used as a warning symbol of death. And if you click on the skull and crossbones, Baba Kushar. Yep, that's a symbol of the skull and the crossbones, you see. So they get that from Hebrew, which that essentially goes into poisonous, you see. But they get the poisonous connotation, from the snake, because snakes are poisonous, and they view snakes as deadly, So that's why they use that symbol. You might see it on placards, like on trucks or gas or fuel or something like that, But we go back, Baba Kushar.
Yeah, it's ironic that they got the snake as a symbol of the medical industry.
Yep. So it says, as in modern times, it survives on potsherds used by Athenians when voting for the death penalty. Also, could we get it was one that said Thanos or something like that.
Come on. You talking about Screen Rant?
What was it called?
Screen Rant, this one right here?
Yeah, there it is. It says Thanos received his name in the most horrifying way. Which when we go into this is the character from Marvel. You see, like Esau put different things in comics, movies and stuff like that. But essentially, all these things go back to idolatry in some way, shape, or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
Which the scriptures say, if he does good, he does it unwillingly, Or essentially going into he's doing it for his own purpose. He's not doing things to entertain people. He's doing it for a specific purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Could you scroll down just a little bit? It says Thanos. Could you like blow it up? Zoom in. So it says Thanos, the mad Titan, has one of the most threatening names in Marvel Comics. In Greek, the name Thanos is the short form of personal name Athanasios, which means immortal. The name, however, is also derived from the name Thatanos, a Greek mythological figure who carries humans off to the underworld when their lives are done. For Thanos, therefore, his name literally means death. Hey, and what did he come to do? In the Avengers Endgame, he snapped his fingers and everybody just disappeared. You see, but him, he pretty much he had a retirement plan. He was sitting there chilling, eating fruit and shit. So his name he pretty much as if he was immortal, and then he came to kill off everybody. So Esau put these in movies. Kids that see it, like, oh, I want to watch this, but little do they know, it goes back to some type of idol in Greek mythology.
Yeah, and when you get into the comic book, Thanos was pretty much, he had a similar mission. The Marvel movie, they babied him a lot. They didn't really go into his character for real, but he had a love interest, where he literally was trying to, impress Death. Death was pretty much a woman in the MCU comics. So, I'm sorry, MCU, the Marvel comics. And pretty much, he would do all this killing, and ruin the universe and try to impress Death. So just adding on to that.
Okay. So could we get Deuteronomy 32 and 39? Because the Egyptians they took the symbol. They essentially they treated the snake as if they was the one that was doing the killing, so to speak, the deleting. So it says, this is Deuteronomy 32 and 39. It says, see now that I, even I, am he, and there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. You see, so it's not the snake, that is taking someone out. If that was, the Lord's will, it's that everything goes according to the Lord's will.
Mm-hmm.
From there,
it's like you. Now, I was just saying, even in the scriptures, it talks about whenever I believe it was Paul who got bit by the serpent, but it was all up to the will of the Lord if he wanted, if he deemed him to die or not, which of course in the scriptures he didn't die. But just backing up your point, it's all power of the Lord.
Con, could we get, just to prove that, could we get Luke 12 and 4 to verse 7?
I say you have another instance too, like dealing with when Moses, had put the bronze snake on the staff, and they were getting bitten by the snakes,
Mm-hmm.
and they had to look at the staff to be pretty much healed, which that staff was symbolic of Yahweh Shai, but just showing you that it's the Lord that's in control of all that, in the end.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This is Luke chapter 12 and verse 4. And it says, "And I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body, and after that have no more that they can do. But I will forewarn you whom ye shall fear. Fear him which after he hath killed hath power to cast into hell. Yea, I say unto you, fear him."
Mm-hmm. Because the Lord can make it to where, like, you come back in another generation, and you like, what's the dude named Stephen Hawkins? Goddamn, you can't even move and shit, drooling.
Right, coming out with your damn coming out with no flesh,
Right.
pretty much just raw skin or whatever, raw meat. Like, man, there's a lot of examples how the Most High be jacking people up, in their reincarnation.
Right. You keep going to verse 7.
Con. Luke 12 and verse 6, it says, "Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings, and not one of them is forgotten before the Most High? But even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, therefore, ye are of more value than many sparrows."
Right. So we don't even know the number of hairs that's on our head, So everything, the Lord is in control of everything. He has, his eyes go out throughout the earth. Essentially everything that happens according to the Lord's will. I believe it's another version that goes into pretty much, not a sparrow falls down unless the Lord knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody dropped, a child was born, it was all because of the Lord's will.
But you have these heathen,
Right.
that give the reverence to all these different idols, man. Like we all go into, it's an idol for literally everything.
Right.
Dealing with the Egyptians, they worshipped everything. The Greeks, the Romans, shit. They all these heathen, they give that reverence to these objects instead of the Lord, and Jake follows suit behind that.
Right. Can we also get Ecclesiastes 3 and you go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna get something real quick because this is the one you were talking about. It's the same as the one you pulled out previously, but it's worded a little bit differently. This is Matthew 10 and verse 29. It says, "Are not 2 sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall to the ground without your Father?" So just backing up.
Yeah, pretty much going into how the Lord pretty much destines everything. Everything is in His control.
Mm-hmm. You said Ecclesiastes 3?
Yeah, 3 and 19 to 21.
Con. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3 and verse 19. It says, "For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts, even one thing befalleth them. As the one dieth, so dieth the other. Yea, they have all one breath, so that a man hath no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity."
Mm-hmm.
It says, "All go unto one place, all are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward into the earth?"
Right. So the spirit of man, goes up to the Lord. It's a scripture that goes into the spirit goes to the Lord who gave it. You see, in the animals, they pretty much return back to the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're saying, like, okay, well, snakes and whatever other animals and other idols, they are mortal. You see, but no, they pass. They pass. They die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
you had them dumbass Egyptians. They'd have half animal, half man. Gods they worship. And one of the practices that the Egyptians used to do was pretty much, they would have sex with the animals in order for them to try to bring them gods into the earth.
Mm-hmm. Man.
Sure. Well.
So from there, could we get let's get. Could you go to that? I think it was that Scientology one.
Oh, okay, gone.
Slot, get the one that says EOHT.info.
Con.
It says what relation serpents had to the earliest letters. It is now impossible to say. Philo says the Greek theta owed its form to the Egyptian habit of designating the deity by a ring shape or a ring serpent with its head turned inward. See Ouroboros, the dot represented the eye of the Most High in the or power in the world, but the serpent was the name and symbol of the Phoenician letter Ta, which preceded the Greek theta. You see, so the theta came from the Ta, and it says that Greek letter still represents the deity in abbreviated writing. Then to the right, let's like, can you scroll down just a little bit?
Mm-hmm. Scroll down more.
Yeah, a little more. Is that it in the article?
Yeah, that was it.
You scroll up to the top. Right, right. Go back down a little bit. And it says, it's a lot. It says in 800 BC, Hesiod penned his Theogony, a term meaning generation of the gods, wherein after studying the creation of the Egypt, I'm skip down. It says, said that Greek theta owed its form to the Egyptian habit of designating the deity by a ringed serpent with its head turned inward, which I just read. Skipping down, it says Greek theta corresponds firstly to the soul, because when you go into people that take these same tenets will be Scientology. They take some of the same tenets from this and they apply it to what they want to apply it to. But essentially, they had some sort of worship of nine, the number nine, Ta, and then also going into the theta, which they got from the Greeks. So from there, could we get? Let's see. Could you go to that other article? It was Salat. We found it.
Scientology one?
Yeah, the Scientology one. Yeah. Right. Scroll down just a little bit. It says brainwashing and thought control in Scientology. The title.
Oh, Salakia.
It says the road to Ron Droid, and you can scroll down just a little bit. It says the effectiveness of a doctrine does not come from the meaning, but from its certitude. Crude absurdities, trivial nonsense, and sublime truths are equally potent in readying people for self-sacrifice if they are accepted as the sole eternal truth. It is obvious, therefore, that in order to be effective, a doctrine must not be understood, but has to be believed in. And that's what you'll see in a lot of this stuff. A lot of Esau, left hand stuff. He just heaps followers to himself. You see, but going into this specific doctrine, it was a guy that he pretty much studied. Going back to Hermeticism, alchemy. All of these things are pretty much associated with the letter Ta, and essentially all everything. And what we're going into today, essentially came from Ta and the number 9.
Mm-hmm.
So,
too.
Yeah, you got it.
A lot of these philosophies share these same tenets in the fact that they get their strength from the amount of people they have involved, right? Because they look at these people as a sacrifice ultimately, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you see, whether it be Scientology, whether it be Christianity, whether it be Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, right? All these groups, they try to get all these mass numbers. It's because of the tenets like this, where, like it says, a doctrine must not be understood, but it has to be believed in, right? So they need the people, to continue the growth of their positions, right?
Right. And when you actually study the dude, I think his name was like something Hubbard or something like that, but
L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, L. Ron Hubbard. They essentially just took on his mindset. He said that they was like, okay, well, so many words. It was like, yeah, in order to gain money, you got to have a church. And he was like, all right. So he pretty much took his belief mindset and he made a doctrine, so he can get some money, and people that essentially joined his group, they was blindly following like you going into,
I have a quick one.
Okay.
This is Ecclesiastes 1:9. It says the thing that have been, it says it is what shall be, and that which is done, it is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Because like you're going into a lot of all these different doctrines, philosophies that then came and went throughout us being here on earth. These are all originated from the original source, which is the Hebrew.
Yep.
So the tenets of what we're seeing, this religion you got on the screen with this Scientology. All right, a lot of this shit is going back to Egypt. Like I mentioned, Neo Babylon and different empires. So it's the same shit. They just changed it up.
Mm-hmm. Con, can we get Job 17-12, Baba Shah?
I got
This
it.
is the book of Job, chapter 17 and verse 12. And it reads, they change the night into day. The light is short because of darkness.
Con, it says they changed the light into day. Going into essentially, they changed the Hebrew into something that was bad. They essentially took it out of its natural purpose, just like they did, with the movie Avengers. A lot of those things actually go back to something negative, something that's dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a good example of that. We spoke on the Avengers movie. They put Doctor Strange up like he's like this, superhero, but that whole movie is witchcraft. Spider Man, the little when you have him doing like the shit you shooting the web out, you throwing up the devil horns, man. So Esau he uses Hollywood to indoctrinate you with his witchcraft and Satanism, but he packages it up. It seems like it's harmless.
Right. Could we get just going into that? Could we get Matthew 6:22?
This is Matthew chapter 6 and verse 22. And it reads, the light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light.
Right. If you got a single eye, single also it goes into a healthy eye, and then also being focused. If you focus on the truth, you'll be full of light. You see, and if you have a healthy eye, you'll be focused on the truth as well. But then verse 23 it says, but if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? You see, so 2/3 they're not really they're not within the understanding. So essentially Esau put different things into entertainment. So he'll get the masses. He puts things like Thanos. Like the brother went into pretty much Spider-Man. Doctor Strange. He makes these things seem cool. You see, so then he has the masses into his spells.
Con, may I get something for you real quick?
Con.
This is an article I just pulled up. It says, the title of it says, how subliminal images impact your brain and behavior. Because that's essentially what Esau does. He puts these images, these symbols all throughout these movies, music videos, whatever it is, to push that vibration out there, that whatever idol that he's trying to push out, right? But it says subliminal messaging. It says we've heard all about it, but it doesn't really work, right? New research from Valentine Dragoy's lab at the University of Texas at Houston suggests that subliminal images can change your brain activity and behavior. It says, what does subliminal messaging entail? Subliminal messages are words or images presented below our conscious awareness. Usually we think of short frames cut into a video feed where the subliminal messages appear so quickly, usually less than 1/10 of a second, and that our mind do not register their appearance. On the other hand, supraliminal messages are presented for longer periods of time such that we can consciously see them.
Yeah, because I can make mention real quick, because dealing with the subliminal messaging, all right, that's essentially how Esau programs your subconscious. Because with them subliminal messages, we're constantly being bombarded by subliminal. So this is how you become programmed, without even you know it. So Esau has been programming us, pretty much since we came out the womb. All right, subconsciously to naturally be against Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This is a high form of witchcraft that he has been performing on the people.
Exactly. Because when you
Right.
go into like was it propaganda, they talk about how it pretty much takes 10 years to ruin a generation. And what they do is they present the subliminal messages and things of that nature to the point that when you get to a certain age, you think that your own thoughts are yours when they're actually things that have been implanted into you, right? Or ultimately using these enchantments that we see Esau Edom using, man, right? So his mastery of the left hand side has allowed him to control the minds of the people. But like the scriptures say, there's no enchantment against Jacob. That's why you see the rising up happening right now. And he's in extreme damage control mode right now, as we see. To try to stop it, right? But you can do nothing against the truth before the truth.
That's right.
Right. I just want to read an example right here. It says one of the most famous examples of subliminal messaging was conducted in the 1950s to test if subliminal messages could sway behavior. Short messages stating "drink Coca-Cola" and "hungry, eat popcorn" were playing in the movie theater during the film. Although the results were later proved fraudulent, the researcher James Vicary claimed that presenting these suggestive messages increased concession sales. So just showing you that, like the brother mentioned, the whole devil horns of Spider-Man. You have kids going around, thinking that shit's funny, not knowing that shit goes back to, some devil worship. It's a lot of things, man. A lot of symbols, a lot of words, playing your mind to influence you into doing these things.
Right. That's why that TV was so detrimental to the American society, because I got two quotes from the leader of the Satanic Church, Anton LaVey. He said the TV set or satanic family altar has grown more elaborate since the early 50s. From the tiny fuzzy screen to huge entertainment centers covering entire walls with several TV monitors, what started as an innocent reprieve from everyday life has become in itself a replacement for real life for millions and major religion of the masses. Because you see these people, they pretty much, believe everything they see on TV. All right. And so Esau allowed these TVs to come into the homes to begin to program you in the means of how he wanted you to be like. I got one more. So it says, many of you already read my writings indicating that TV is the new God. There is a little thing I neglected to mention up until now. Television is the major mainstream infiltration for the new satanic religion. So all this is just, Esau's media, outlet to pretty much, perform his witchcraft on you with these movies and these shows. You notice the agendas that we see taking place were on TV years before we even knew this was normal. For example, you had the cross dressing thing, man. We grew up watching shows like Martin, what's some more?
White Chicks.
House, Joanna, man. What'd you say, bro?
White Chicks.
White Chicks, and we thought that shit was funny, but we
Right.
to find out that was straight up witchcraft, because that's a blatant, it's blatantly going against the laws of the Most High, which forbid doing that, man.
Exactly.
Doc, I get a.
Oh, sorry. You go.
You go finish your point.
I was just going to add to priest, because you go into that word for television, it goes into the vision of their end goal. That word teleos goes into your end goal or the completion or the result, right? So whatever they're showing you is what they want the end result to be, So as you continue to see these things get pumped into the masses, right? You can remember times in the past where what you saw on TV is now becoming real life now, man.
Yeah, it's always like a gradual step.
Exactly.
Right, because I remember
to you, because that television, another way you hear people break it down is like telling you a vision, through his programming. So he's programming you to see the vision that he has for you, for his end goal, which is to pretty much make everybody satanic and go against the Most High. It's like you got it.
No, Khan, I was gonna say I remember watching these cartoons when I was a kid. They'll show like motherfuckers wearing spikes on their arms, wearing like goddamn paint in their face, got the damn color hair, like blue, green, all kinds of random colors and shit. And you seeing that now? That shit's
Yeah.
everywhere now.
Hey,
Right.
it's a video you could look on, multiple videos you can look on YouTube, and you see all like the sexual innuendos that they put in these different shows and cartoons we used to watch when we were young. And that was, like I said, programming your subconscious to think like how you think now. This is why society now is over sexualized. You know?
Exactly.
Could we get a Proverbs 6? And I believe it's verse like 12.
13, you mean?
Yeah, 13, like 13 to 15. And then also Ephesians 6, 12.
Oh shit, Slovakia. Fingers right now. Proverbs 6 and verse. I'm just going to start at 12.
Con.
It says, a naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a froward mouth. He winketh with his eyes.
Scriptures say, his tongue walketh through the earth. So this man's policies, his lifestyle, his way of life is what's pushed everywhere.
Con. Verse 13, it says, he winketh with his eyes, he speaketh with his feet, he teaches with his fingers.
Right, and pretty much what brothers is going into, the innuendo and the stuff that he puts in the movies, the Spider-Man, hey, when we was younger, we thought that shit was cool, you got the motherfucking blaster from like Dollar Tree or Walmart, and you got the little can, you making the little symbol, and that essentially pushes out some wickedness, that's what he wants,
Right.
Yeah, certain sayings and different things that you do. Like the Star Trek, they had the little shit with the Star Trek hand, you do like the little whatever, or for example, rap music. Jay-Z had you throwing up motherfucking Vesica Pisces, thinking that shit was hard, things like that. So a lot of the stuff, gang banging, you got them gang bangers they call like stacking, you throwing up all the gang signs. Those are that's witchcraft, man.
Right.
Naruto, they show the ninja. That's witchcraft, man.
Right. Harry Potter.
Witchcraft symbol is Harry Potter goes without saying.
Want me to continue reading that?
Can we go to verse 14? I think, bro, screen froze.
Nah, still.
I'm good. Yeah, we should be good. It was probably just lagging a little bit.
Fine. This is Proverbs 6 and verse. What was that?
14.
Okay, 14. It says, "Frowardness is in his heart. He deviseth mischief continually. He soweth discord."
Right. So contrary to popular belief, and then unbeknownst to Jake and the world, they don't know that's his MO. You see, but that's what he's pushing to the masses. In the entertainment industry, social media. You went into they had what they call it, the social dilemma. Pretty much, he's trying to get everybody's attention. Pretty much that's why he has the ads and stuff like that.
Right.
But from there, let's get. You got something?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring out something real quick.
Okay.
Because essentially what they're doing is planting a seed in you, right? And they're continuing to water that seed through the many shit they're bombarding you with through social media, TV, ads, all this shit.
If I could add, because essentially when all you need is a seed, it's like a little seed, and you just start it's growing from there,
Right. This is 1 Corinthians 3 and verse 6. It says, "I have planted, Apollos watered, but the Most High gave the increase." So ultimately, if the Most High wants you to, pretty much fall into those traps or have that seed, that wicked seed grow in you, eventually he can make it grow. But, with us, we understand that, we had those seeds, those righteous seeds planted within us, and the Most High allowed that to grow, pretty much separating us from that. But just, adding to that point, the seeds that are being added by our enemies, we see they take root on a lot of our people. That's why our people are bugged the fuck out. The scriptures say, Hosea, was it 4 and 6? Our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Right? They don't know the right way. All they know is wickedness. Whatever their father told them, which was Esau, Edom.
Right.
You got it.
Because you get the it was a link to Merriam-Webster for the basket?
Oh yeah, I see it.
Because
I would.
Scientology and different things like that, or specifically Scientology, they liken their doctrine to a basket, like because they pretty much worship the Ta in a certain way, shape, or form because they got it from the Theta. But it says a receptacle made of interwoven material. It says something that resembles a basket, especially in shape or use. It says a net open at the bottom is suspended from a metal net that constitutes the goal in basketball. Could we get Habakkuk chapter 1 and verse 15 to 17?
Con.
And I'm gonna read this. It says also another definition for a net. It says a thing devoted, usually a doomed object. And this is a quote. It says the ideology in Scientology is that they say they are in a trap, and the only way out is through Scientology. This thought is maintained by their Office of Ethics.
Hey, Baba Gushak, can you repeat that for me again? Habakkuk.
1 and 15 to 17.
Okay, Con. This is Habakkuk chapter 1 and verse 15. It says, they take up all of them with the angle, they catch them in their net and gather them in their drag. Therefore, they rejoice and are glad.
Right. What you're applying this to pretty much to do, Ron L. Hubbard or L. Ron Hubbard, essentially, he only did that essentially to gain revenue, to gain some type of money, you see. But with the net, you trap people with the net, and essentially his followers, the people that came up out of that, they said they felt as if they was trapped, and that's essentially they take their ideology from how Ta is, it's surrounding and it protects, you see, but they use that on the left hand side,
And that's all these religions, because that's all with these different leaders of whoever, they pretty much ensnare their followers off of the lies and tenets of what that so-called religion is supposed to bring them.
That's right.
This is why Esau pretty much at one point he was pushing all these different religions. Like you see them down car stickers, it'll be like the faith with all the different religious symbols on them, supposed to be one. That's ultimately what he's trying to do with this new world order now, is merge all these different, religions together now to where, look, we let you know that all these religions really just worship Satan. So you're just going to come out and just say it now. So all these people have been, ensnared by these different, false religions. Hey, if you ain't got the Spirit of the Lord to take you out of that, then you pretty much, you're going to be lost and taken by that, man.
Right.
Yeah, that's why you see, less and less churches, but you see more what they call international houses of worship, right? So when you go into these places, they'll have, like, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but they'll have like a chair like sitting up on the front, and it's like to represent whatever God that these people are worshiping, man. So like all the denominations, all religions can just meet in one place. And like Priest said, they're ultimately worshiping Satan at the end of the day.
Right.
This is why the Lord, commanded for us to be separate, because that was always the problem with Jake, man. Jake will get, amongst these heathen and be ensnared, by the lure of these different gods, man. This is why the Most High continually used to jack us up. Real quick, this is Psalms 106 and verse 34. It says, they did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works, and they served their idols, and which were a snare unto them. All right, and under the guise of these different, idols, that required Jake to do different, sacrifices and different things, which went against the Lord, man. As it's going to say, it says, yet they sacrificed their sons, their daughters unto devils, and shed innocent blood, even the blood of their sons and their daughters, whom they sacrificed unto the gods of the idols of Canaan, and the land was polluted with blood. Thus they were defiled with their own works and went a whoring with their own inventions. And this is why the Most High pretty much, advised us not to learn the works of the heathen. All right, because this is what will happen. Because if Jake really understood these practices that these heathen, what they went back to, look, we have the source. These heathen are trying to copy what the Most High has already given us. So Jake was really, understanding of what they were getting involved in. They would know that all these different religions are just an offshoot of what we already have, which is the truth, man. The doctrine of Yahweh Shem Shah, the wisdom of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Con, I had a quick one for you, bro. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 5. It says, "Yea, also because he transgresses by wine," talking about Esau, Edom, "he is a proud man." That wine going into his philosophies, right? That's going into, he pushes this. He's promoting all these idols, all in one. Like brothers going earlier, uh, into them. What is it? International religion. I don't know what the fuck they're called.
It's a international house of prayer. That's what it's called.
International House of Prayer. With all this shit. I mean,
Yeah.
he just like that right there shows you that they're not even sure what the hell they're worshiping, or they're not even sure about their religions. Like, but anyway.
But that goes back to that account with Paul in Acts. I think he was in Athens, Greece, and you had Israel over there worshiping the unknown God. That's the same. That's the same sentiment that we got right now, man. We got Jake worshiping the universe. Jake worshiping themselves, the black woman, all these different idols. Jake really don't know what they worship. Really, the world themselves don't know what they worship. Only ones that truly know who they worship is the elect and the elites.
On Habakkuk 2 and 5, it says, "Yea, also because he transgresses by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, who enlarges his desire is hell." Meaning, this man can't be. Oh well, it says right here, "and is as death, and cannot be satisfied." Enough is never enough for this man. He wants the whole world, right? He already got the world, but he wants everybody's souls. He wants their minds. He wants everything, man.
Exactly.
But it says, "But gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." So we're going into what the brother Yawan went into, right? Pretty much trying to grab everybody as a net. That's essentially what Esau's doing with putting all these nets out here, all these snares out here. He's trying to catch everybody. You got it, bro.
Can you go back to the Habakkuk 1 and 16 and 17? I had like two more, and then that'd be it.
Oh, God. This is Habakkuk 1 and verse 16. It says, "Therefore they sacrifice into their net and burn incense into their drag, because by them their portion is fat and their meat is plenteous."
Con, could you get in the NLT?
Con. Habakkuk 1 and 16 in the NLT.
That's reads, two. That's two.
Oh, Salakia. I don't know why it sent me over there. Hold on, Salakia. Habakkuk 1 and verse 16 in the NLT, it reads, Then they will worship their nets and burn
pretty much. Salat. It says then they will worship their nets, pretty much with whatever idol, essentially trap Jacob, you see, and the masses as well. And it says, and burn incense in front of them. These nets are the gods who made us rich, they will claim. And pretty much these different philosophies, these doctrines and these idols, essentially those that are at the forefront of those, they essentially, they glad, because essentially these are different ways that can ensnare 2/3 Jake,
Go on. Verse 17, it says, when we read it in the NLT.
No, that was good. I just want to.
If I could add to what you were saying too, you want, because this is why Esau went through these different captivities that we were in, and did extensive studying to see what was it that lured Jake to pretty much get enamored by these different gods. This is why Babylon the Great is known as the mother of harlots, because this place has took all the different gods and idols of the different captivities and brought them over here. This is why it's many snares for Jake to fall into. And a lot of it, you don't even realize that you're doing idol worship, man. This is why Esau has set forth many traps out here for Jake, man.
That's it.
Right.
Can we get Luke 6 and 39?
Con. This is the book of Luke, chapter 6 and verse 39. And it reads, And he spake a parable unto them. Can the blind lead the blind? Shall they not both fall into the ditch?
Right, because pretty much essentially those that subscribe to or whoever made that ideology and those that follow them, they essentially both gonna be destroyed. If Jake is amongst those, hey, they pretty much gonna be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Can we also get Proverbs 26 and 27?
This is the book of Proverbs 26 and verse 27. It reads, "Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that rolleth a stone, it will return upon him."
So Esau feel as if hey he's ensnaring Jake, and stuff like that. You see, but that's gonna in turn fall upon him. You see, because Esau's in a trick bag.
Mm-hmm.
Shatan, Satan and these demons is essentially double agents.
That's right.
So from that, let's get Luke 13 and 3, and that'll be it for bros and had nothing else.
Con.
Hey, Shai, can you read that Proverbs 26 and 28?
Con. This is Proverbs 26 and verse 26. Whoso whose
28.
hatred. Salakio. You say something, Mark?
Verse 28. Just read that last verse.
Oh, okay, Con. This is Proverbs 26 and verse 28. It says, "A lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin."
Right. So, as we see, everything that Esau, engenders, right? Everything he speaks is to your detriment, right? Whether it be the philosophies, whether it be the different doctrines that they push through the media, the entertainment. Like it says, a lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it. So he's showing his hatred, right, by his speech. And it says, a flattering mouth worketh ruin. So he's giving you these gifts, he's giving you this access, he's giving you this so-called liberty and freedom, right? But it's to your ruin, it's to your destruction, man.
Mm-hmm. May I get something real quick?
Oh, you got it, bro.
This is the book of Psalm 62 and verse 4. It says, "They only consult to cast him down from his excellency." Esau only tries to bring us down. That's his whole MO. Like even his words, they're poisonous. They're pretty much detrimental to Esau. I mean, to our people, because our people believe Esau. People trust in the so-called white man, right? So Esau will come out here telling lies. Jake will believe it. For example, telling our people the so-called nationality, right? Telling them that they're black, telling them that they're so-called Hispanics, Native Americans. All that was nothing but lies to get you start you into this trap that he has set. To get y'all trapped up, stripping away your true nationality, giving you instead of giving you your true religion, the truth. He gave you Christianity. Everything that we're seeing, it's all just a continual process of breaking us down, continual process of keeping us destroyed. But it says, Psalm 62 and 4, "They only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly." Selah. Oh, that was a point.
Can we go back to the Luke 13?
Con.
It says,
13.
it says,
Selah.
they were present at that season, Luke 13 and 1. There were present at that season some that told him of the Galileans, whose blood Pilate had mingled with their sacrifices. And Yahushua answering said unto them, Suppose ye that these Galileans were sinners above all the Galileans, because they suffer such things? I tell you, nay, but except ye repent, ye shall all likewise perish, you see. So essentially, the Jakes that's into all those left-hand practices, whatever type of lifestyle they're into, if they're not subscribing to the truth, they don't repent, they'll be destroyed,
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's pretty much all I had of bros and had nothing else, though.
I had another one to back you up.
Kyle, you good?
This is the book of Acts, chapter 17, and verse 30. It says, "In the times of this ignorance, the Most High winked at, but now commandeth all men everywhere to repent.
Mhm.
So if you repent and turn back to the Lord, you can be forgiven for everything you've done. Even all this, idol worship and everything. But at the time of your ignorance, hey, all that can be ignored, all that can be, brushed to the side. But once you do it willingly, that's a different topic. But
Yeah.
point there is to repent.
Yeah, I got one to add to you, Shire. This is Ecclesiasticus of Sirach 5 and 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small. This is why we're commanded to study to show thyself approved.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the things that we've been taught in this world is lies, man. So our job as being men of the Lord, that we're supposed to search things out, man. Scripture tell you
Mm-hmm.
to prove all things. So our job is to pretty much go find the source, man. Which the source is Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. That through Yahushua, which is the light. All right, he has shined the dark. Yeah, he has shined the light on all this darkness out here and exposing it for what it is, which is to be lies, man.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Bros, anything else?
Lie.
Well, hey, I don't want to Zaza Banai Apollos, who does a beautiful edification through the Spirit. While I don't want to Zaza Adam Yashlai La Tawabe, Lord's will, you all have a good night. While we can go ahead and close it up and saying, Call Halayim Lab, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Chahakodash. A double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that taught us the truth and rule well, and much respect to you bros out there pushing the truth with all righteousness and sincerity. Shalom, shalom. While Halayim La Tawab, shalom.
Shalom.